So last preseason, NBA preseason, I picked Nuggets and Heat as a preseason prediction for the finals. Ended up being the actual correct finals. I didn't pick the right winner. I picked the Heat to win. And I also, yes, as Amin is telling me, I can't continue without saying that I did not pick the Heat and the Nuggets through the playoffs. I just picked them in the preseason. I picked other teams to win, so it's not a real prediction.
It was a great prediction. I mean, it's no Geno Smith line, but, it's pretty good, though, as far as predictions go.
Pretty good. This year, we're at the time of NBA season where they're asking for all these things, and I've already made my pick. And I don't think it's up on ESPN.com, but spoiler alert, I picked Heat and Warriors in the finals.
Wow.
I love you.
When's the last time you didn't pick the Heat?
The year before the Heat Nuggets. So 2022 is the last time. But we are at this point where there's not a whole lot of news going on. And one of the news stories in the NBA cycle right now is Lonzo Ball, who's reportedly going to miss the entirety of this next season, recovering from a nasty knee injury that they just sort of figured out what it was this past year. And so Stephen A. Smith, who's obviously very tied in the NBA circles, and was just talking about Lonzo Ball and mentioned that sources are telling him that Lonzo Ball was having difficulty standing up from a seated position, and that there were indications that maybe his career is over. And to me, that's something that I don't know about you, Amin. Like, I would hear that, and I would say, if I'm that player, I'd be like, I don't really mind if they're saying that about me. But Lonzo Ball went next level and went an entire video response to Stephen A. Smith. Here it is.
Stephen A., who are your sources, bro? Please tell me who your sources are. Come on, man. You gotta stop yapping. And I actually like you, man. I don't even know you like that, but I like you. I'm coming back, man. Come on.
And what the audio audience couldn't see there is that he was standing up and sitting down over and over again just on one leg. I'm assuming the injured leg, right? I didn't actually double check that. That would be quite the move by him. But he's just going back and forth and saying that, I'm coming back. To me, I'm Lonzo Ball. I'm more concerned about, my recovery. I'm more concerned about it's an entire year he's going to miss again, essentially. I was a little surprised by the effort he put into the response, but it made me way happier because the Lonzo Ball story was going to be really sad if what Stephen A. said was the truth.
How do we know what Stephen A. said isn't the truth? Not about being able to sit down and stand up, but about his career being over. He underwent something called cadaver cartilage transplant. Mm-hmm. They took cartilage from a dead person, pretty much, and implanted it into him to kind of stimulate the growth of cartilage there. It's happened a couple of times in NBA history. There's never been a person who's recovered from it. Like, the last guy was Festus Ezeli, I want to say. And
feels like it was a while ago, at least a decade ago or so, right?
Yeah, probably. Now looking at it, probably like 20. No, it was after. It was more than a decade because
right.
he played for the Warriors. He won a couple of championships.
Not quite.
So maybe like 5-6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And Festus never played again. Like he tried, but he couldn't. And so, look, for Lonzo's sake, for all of our sake, I hope we're all wrong. Mm-hmm. I hope we're all wrong, but I don't think Stephen A. is out of question in saying something that has been said in NBA circles by a lot of people is that this dude's career might be over. But I'm glad he can stand up and sit down in a chair.
Yeah, I'm not knocking on Stephen A. for breaking that news. I'm just happy that the opposite or whatever it is that Lonzo is telling us is true. And I mean, it's a good test for, medicine and the advancement of all that. But Lonzo Ball particularly is just one of those stories that you just kind of want to see play out a little bit, right? Because you've got, the father with him and LaMelo and everything else.
He was right, by the way.
That his father was right?
Yeah, LeVar Ball. About his sons.
Well, he said
he said Jello.
Right?
I mean, Jello is.
What? Well, I mean, what was he right about? He said his son was better than Steph Curry right now.
Well, that was not right. Yeah.
Well, the thing that
he
I
was right that they're good NBA players.
I don't think anyone ever doubted that.
The thing that I was excited about Lonzo so if you remember that draft, it was Markelle Fultz 1, right, and it was Lonzo 2, and then it was Jason Tatum 3, and people just kind of gave up on Markelle Fultz, obviously, still doing some good things, or now doing some good things in Orlando. Mm-hmm. And I feel like Lonzo had been given up on even when he left the Lakers, but he adjusted his shot to the point, and he got to a point with the Bulls where he was playing or shooting it especially well. And I'd like to see the end of that story. And like I'm more intrigued by him than even by LaMelo, even though LaMelo's, a little fancier, a little nicer with it. He plays for the Charlotte Wilders. He's just, I don't see the same sort of intriguing storyline from LaMelo. I feel like LaMelo is going to, or plays out to be sort of maybe somebody who underperforms in the long term versus Lonzo, who's pretty much the opposite, where it's just like, oh, this guy can't shoot. Now, wow, he's a 40% three-point shooter and, recovers from this devastating knee injury.
The part with Lonzo that's interesting, right, is like he was the face of everything that his dad was projecting onto the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
And so LaMelo gets to live in this sort of almost post-LeVar Ball world where by the time he came into the league, we'd all sort of exhausted most of the jokes that existed about Big Baller Brand and everything else, where Lonzo had to sort of wear the brunt of that as he came into the league. There were arguments that he could be the number 1 overall pick, then he doesn't go number 1, then obviously everything happens with the Lakers the way that it does. He's had to wear a lot of struggle out there in front of the public in a way that LaMelo hasn't had to, 1, because he's seemingly a better and more polished player as he comes into the league, but 2, he ended up in Charlotte with a team that nobody expected to be all that good. He didn't need to be a piece. He wasn't the first example of us needing to pile onto somebody because of LeVar, where Lonzo, I root hard for Lonzo Ball because of all of those other circumstances.
We're going to have to wait a year to see him play again, but the LaMelo thing is interesting because he did go to a place where, sorry, Charlotte, relatively anonymous. Charlotte, I just called you Charlotte because it says Charlotte right behind
boy.
you. Sorry,
That
Lucy.
should be
He's
a
from North
fine.
Carolina.
It should be a
I
fine.
love
It
it.
should be a
Less,
fine.
brother.
Here you go.
He just tried to blame Juju. He said,
boy.
I
I
called you
did.
Charlotte
It's all.
because-
He just paid me the same money
$7 because I
also.
blamed
He
something
paid me the
else.
same amount of money.
Yeah, I know. I'm doing the math. I had $2. I think I owe 2 more.
LeVar's
So
still
we-
out here selling $5,000 sneakers on
No, he's
BigBallerBrand.com. Yeah, there's a
Even
pair
though
of
his son told the world that they were part of his injury problems.
the golden ticket shoe, which looks like it's autographed by LeVar Ball, is $5,000.
It's autographed by
Yeah.
LeVar.
It looks like it's
That's
autographed,
quite-
by LeVar.
Feels like an investment.
Quite the decision. Like, hey, Melo or no?
There's also
That's
one
why
called
Melo don't win,
Elephant
because he
in
had
the
to wear
Room.
them shoes.
I miss LeVar. Can I say that?
I'm on BigBallerBrandInc.com, and LeVar is in the photo. There's a big banner.
Yeah.
I don't know who he's surrounded by.
No, it's not his children.
That's them $200 an hour brothers right there.
you get him off of Craigslist.
The one on the one on the left, when you're looking at it, looks like an AI younger LeVar, right?
Maybe. Oh, what if he did that? What if he just had AI, formulate
Oh,
younger versions?
they
of
got
him?
shell toes.
I mean, where are you on LaMelo? Because
Those are
he
$6.95.
was in Charlotte. He's kind of anonymous there. And you're talking about Anthony Edwards, who was picked ahead of him, now becoming the unquestionable guy on Team USA. And it almost feels like nobody's really looking at LaMelo and being like, you should probably be better than him. What's going on there?
He's not he's not the unquestionable guy. He's
Unquestionably the guy. Excuse me.
LaMelo, here's the problem with LaMelo. LaMelo is obviously very talented. He's been an all-star. He's exciting. He's a great passer. The parts of his game that are underdeveloped, which was the things that were always the concerns about him, haven't gotten better. And I don't know if Charlotte is the environment where guys, get better in terms of without any structure, because it haven't had a lot of structure there, particularly in the way of consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't want to do something and I'm LaMelo Ball in Charlotte,
Steve Clifford doesn't make him do it.
I don't do it. And so that, to me, is an issue, whereas if he had landed somewhere else.
But the issue isn't not making somebody do it. The issue is not wanting to do it, because you could be a hard worker that lands in a cruddy situation, and you end up finding ways to train. You end up doing it on your own. And I think what you're saying, or maybe implying, is what I am just going to say right here is he's not a hard worker.
I think
Maybe he's in the wrong culture.
there are a lot
You know
of
what I mean?
exactly. Oh, there you go. Hey, maybe he should be on Team USA. So Spo could say, "You remind me of a young Sean Livingston. We had him. We had him."
Interesting.
Dookie bomb.
Nah, he would sell him so hard on the Knicks. You need to go to the New York. Don't worry about us down here. We're good. Your boy Anthony Edwards, he might end up down here.
So I won't say he's not a hard worker, but I think what happens with a lot of players is they like working hard at things that they like to do. Mm-hmm. And they don't like working hard at things that they're bad at, because when you work hard at things you're good at, you get that instant feedback of I worked on my shot and I'm shooting better and doing this. But when you work on things that you're not so great at, you're terrible at it. So when you first start doing it, you're not going to be good. And so that feedback doesn't come. So you're like, oh, this is dumb anyway.
As much as I said I want to sort of watch the Lonzo Ball story play out, like in terms of who's the more fun basketball player to watch, I don't think it's even a question.
But I think Lonzo's a more of a winning player.
Yeah.
In terms of doing the right things that we need in order to win basketball games, like Lonzo is the best of the family.
What we were talking about, or not we were talking about, but Steph Curry was talking about, or with Gilbert Arenas about, who's the best point guard of all time. They got into the conversation about Magic, and they were saying basically that, hey, you can't be, not a whole lot of kids couldn't be 6'9", so they didn't try to be Magic. But LaMelo, even though he's not 6'9" or what have you, he's a big guard, passes with that type of same sort of smoothness, with the no look and everything else. He could be that guy that everybody loves and embraces if he was in a winning situation.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, Gilbert is completely out of line because basically every player who's 6'9" or taller who doesn't play back to the basket under the paint should say thank you to Magic. Like that's Magic and Larry. That's the reason why we even allow 6'9" guys like Durant or whoever to play any other style of basketball other than to be a big. So that's erroneous to say, oh, well, I don't see the guys doing it. Well, first of all the tall guys who are doing perimeter stuff is because of those two guys. But the other thing is, yeah, it's hard to find a 6'9" dude who's that. Like, yeah, it should be hard. It's Magic Johnson.
We'll get to the sound of that on the other side and talk about that a little bit because I do think it's intriguing to see where Steph Curry places himself when you think about watching him at Davidson, for example, and then thinking about where he was going into the draft and whether he could be a point guard in this league, and all of a sudden even he's putting himself as one of the top ever. But it is the contrast between Lonzo and LaMelo I still find crazy intriguing, and I think with Brandon Miller in Charlotte and the importance of having him develop as a great player when Benyama was there and the Thompsons were there and you chose this guy over them. I think LaMelo's responsibility this year, it's going to be sort of the first of the ultimate tests for him. This has to be the year where you get rid of a lot of those mistakes, and if they welcome that rookie in and work him in really well, LaMelo could have a phenomenal year.
I mentioned last week that the Tiki Torch Mafia came after me in defense of Jeremy Tachet's jacket, his wonderful jacket. And like a man of my word, I said I'm going to bring my boy a jacket.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
So an unveiling?
I'm so excited. Thanks to Juju making fun of my jackets, I've worn black T-shirts for 2 out of the 3 days this week.
This is so ironic.
Ooh. Wow. Look at that. We brought him some heat gear.
Look at this.
Awesome.
You feel me?
Wow.
That's my brother
This is
right
incredible.
there.
I'm so excited.
And because he my brother, he get the pants that go with the
Wow.
A track.
Oh, I'm putting everything on right now.
Amazing.
Jeremy,
Heat
you're
culture.
going to look so good in this.
This is
You're
great.
going
I'm
to
so
look
ready.
so natural.
When he
So
first
it's-
pulled-
this is
it's
gonna look
be
great on me.
amazing.
When he first pulled the jacket out, I thought it was an NBA official jacket, like
that would be
for
cool.
a referee.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that. But it don't stop there.
Oh, there's more.
I also got my boy a T-shirt
Wow.
to wear up under his jacket.
Street Fighter
Street Fighter,
T-shirt
but
with the
friends.
Friends theme.
Oh, this is
Friends.
incredible.
Jeremy Tachet style.
For Jeremy Chandler Taché.
That's about 2
Incredible.
sizes too
It does
big
not
for
stop
Jeremy.
there.
There's more.
It does not stop there.
Draws?
Make him say, I got
Oh.
my boy a Masterpiece shirt.
Wow, Jeremy would look great in that.
You got to know. You got to dig it. But you feel me?
No.
Boy finna be outside. My boy gonna be outside
Former
incredibly. It
NBA
don't stop
agent.
there.
It doesn't
There's
stop
more.
there.
Rest in peace to the queen.
Oh,
Rest in
Leah.
peace to the queen.
The princess of
I'm actually
R&B.
so excited about
Jeremy.
that shirt.
Unbelievable.
It don't
at
stop
first-
there.
if at
Stu
first you
guys,
don't
eat
succeed,
your heart out.
There's more.
Stu guys, eat your heart
Grateful
out.
Dead T-shirt, also 3
Wow.
sizes too big for Jeremy.
I'm so
Hey, brother,
touched.
hey, that's hate. That's hate over there with
No,
your
just
pink shoes on.
notice.
Hey, sit down with them pink mug. Hey,
Their
don't get me started, Izzy.
Hair and shoes, yeah.
Not right now, Izzy.
Not today, is he?
Nice,
And some
salty
more
shoes.
pants for my boy.
Wow, look at
You
those.
know what I mean? So nice.
Those look
sweat.
incredible. These look comfortable. I'm changing into all of
I
this.
can't
I know
talk
a good
about
tailor.
people and not, you know what I mean, try to make up for it. I don't want to
Now,
be mean
This is
to anyone
legitimately.
ever.
You were not mean to me. That was hilarious, and this is wonderful. And you're a sweetie pie.
now
Thanks,
Juju,
Juju.
I gotta
Thank you,
ask.
brother.
I gotta ask.
Pie.
I gotta hold on. I gotta
It's the
ask.
first time that response has ever been uttered after receiving a Master P shirt.
Juju, I gotta ask because it seemed like it went from like really on point to like more and more like
Vague.
nothing to do with Jerry. Like first Heat, he works for the Heat. Like cool, all right.
No,
cool.
the heat is that's the one.
Yeah.
That's to make
Okay.
up for the jacket. That's the
Okay.
only jacket I got, my boy. But the rest of this is casual wear. I don't know what your wife is into. This is a newly married man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to take him out of the box he's
She
in
wants a
right
Master
now
P shirt.
and put him in the ones
Yeah.
that he feel like being in.
Juju.
That's hate. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Let my boy Jeremy have this moment,
Thank
please.
you.
That's
Let
what I'm
Jeremy
asking.
go.
Because I said like the Heat thing is like, okay, that's on point. The Street Fighter with the Friends theme, like, okay, yeah, because Jeremy likes Friends. Okay. Then it was like Aaliyah and Master P. I'm like,
I'm trying to put my boy on the culture. Be the example you want to be in the world. You want to
Thank
see
you.
in the world.
So what's a
I'm
gra-
putting foot forward.
what's a
what you want me to
Grateful
get him a Leonard Skinner shirt?
We
Man,
got him a Grateful
Thank
Dead
you.
shirt. What was that? for?
Exactly, because my boy Stugotz ain't here, so eat your heart out. My boy gonna be fresh.
Yep.
Come on, bro. I got answers for all y'all goofy questions, but today is about my boy.
Why my question got to be goofy?
Because you're goofy, sir, right now.
hater.
This is his moment. This is Jeremy's moment.
He just got married,
You gotta come
man.
in here with something. Questions. You
I
ain't
love
easy.
Master P.
The shirt too big. Man, it's a shirt. Look at them shoes. You got them pink shoes on.
Well,
you can't
hang
say
on,
nothing about
hang on,
nobody's
Juju,
clothes,
hang
bro.
on.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna turn down.
So you call them what? The Tiki Torch Mafia?
The Tiki Torch Mafia came in my DMs because I was making jokes about his khaki
Whoa.
jacket.
Joking.
You know what I mean?
Joking.
Yeah,
Not
not
What is that?
Okay. So you felt guilty because the Tiki Torch Mafia came after you.
no.
No, I didn't feel guilty.
guilt.
Tiki Torch Mafia can get it for real, for real. Actually pull up on me anytime. That's who I am.
Okay.
But I'm not going to go there. I'm just trying to keep it in the lane of respect for my brother. Because if I can make fun of him on camera, I can also show that man some respect on camera. Which y'all need to start doing right there.
And
now.
this makes no.
Why
You're
can't Juju
100%
just
right.
give him stuff? Why do you guys have
You're
to try to
1,000%
tear it all
right.
Exactly.
apart?
With
I don't
goofy
understand.
questions.
I am super excited now because if this pattern holds, about 24 hours from now, you're going to feel terrible about making fun of my beautiful
No, your
pink
shoes
shoes.
What, beautiful
probably
pink shoe,
not.
hell,
Or-
man. But you finna bring the other
you're
side
just
out
gonna,
right
or
quick.
you're just gonna want
You
to
finna
school me
bring
on
the
what
other
I
one out.
should-
You might want to start. You feel me? With them pink.
I'm
hey,
gonna
man.
get so many free
Dan don't even wear them.
shoes from Juju.
Dan would not wear them shoes you got on, brother.
I'm getting
Dan
so
would've
many
Thing weak
free.
as hell.
Listen,
They ain't a pink
Dan would
material in
rock
the
these
world.
shoes if he could, but he can't.
Boy, my boy fresher than you.
Oh.
I don't
Who,
think
Dan?
so.
Dan is fresher than Izzy. Breaking news.
Wow.
Show me your outfit.
Unbelievable.
Show me one outfit.
Show, I don't come here to
Moving
dress.
on.
I'm
Lucy
just wearing
Rodriguez.
this.
Neither does Dan.
Oh, there's something for Lucy?
No, I'm just moving on.
Oh,
This
okay.
topic.
Oh, that was a
It's too
bummer. I
much.
thought I was getting something.
That's my
I'm
fault.
serious. I'm super excited. He's gonna hate. He's gonna listen back. He's gonna feel bad about this.
I
I'm
don't
getting at
think
least
so.
3
I
pairs
don't
of Air
think so,
Force.
I don't
too.
think
I'm so excited about this.
Jeremy, you got to film like a haul, like a Bama Rush try.
Yeah.
Oh, like a TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be perfect. All right, that's go follow me on TikTok, everyone.
I thought-
Jeremy Taché, and I'll do
do
a
it right
try-on
now.
haul of Juju's clothes.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna do like the '80s montage where you're gonna come out like, "It's my party, when I cry if I want." And
Every
you got
minute, come back with a different thing on.
outfit.
All right,
And
let's
Juju's-
make it happen.
And you just sitting in the chair like, yeah, just nodding.
Can I tell you guys something about Aaliyah now that we're on the subject?
Sure.
I had never had the fear of too much weight on an airplane before
Until
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah.
Like every time I go on a plane and I see people trying to pull that fast one where they lift their foot to lift up their bag so that the weight is not what it is and they don't get charged a couple extra pounds.
You're watching people.
Yeah, I'm watching people and I'm like, guys, did you not hear about Aaliyah? Like, let's not be lying about the weight. Just pay a couple extra dollars. Like, it's not worth it.
Wait, they do what now?
When
They
they go
pull
to
the bag, they hold it up a little bit, so it's
No,
not.
they'll put their toe, like they'll put their foot on the bottom, so they put the bag like half on the scale and they hold it up with their foot so that they don't have to pay if their bag goes over the
Well,
weight.
I contend the most embarrassing thing that you could ever do, that somebody could ever do to you when you're traveling, is make you take the weight out of your bag right there in front
Oh,
of
you
everybody.
gotta open up
you
the
gotta like
bag.
transfer it. It's like, does this shoe weigh a pound? Okay, I'm gonna put it in this bag. And you got people with all their stuff just everywhere, and it's just like it's a long ass line. And just pay the $20.
Your drawers
man.
on the ground.
Yeah, it's the most embarrassing thing you could
But
do.
also, like, if there's weight limits, why are we not abiding by them? Like, why does me paying an extra $20 like make it okay? Like, you know what? Let's risk it because he gave us 20 extra bucks.
The weight
today.
limits aren't about like the planes, or about like the people who have to carry the bags and load them and stuff. And
Well,
they're like, yo.
Aaliyah's plane was reportedly 1,000 pounds over the limit, and it was a
It was,
smaller
it was
plane.
a paper airplane. It
Right.
was literally like the
Yeah, no, it
size
was a
of this-
private plane, but
Yeah.
still.
But 1,000 pounds doesn't sound like a
No,
lot
but
for
it
a plane,
wasn't.
right?
It wasn't like a G5. It was like literally like one of those ones with the propeller, like where the guy had to get out and like just like,
Yeah,
get the
I went on
blood
one of
going.
those. It was.
Did you?
It was scary.
I don't like any plane with a door that I open like this, like a car door. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing
It
that.
barely like got off the ground, and then it just went boop, nosedived. 1,000 pounds too heavy.
Jeez.
And by the way, it was a month before 9/11. That's the crazy thing. It's like, yo, for a few weeks, that was the craziest plane-related accident.
I did not remember that. That's when that happened.
That's one of my I always wonder about people like she died before 9/11, and it's like, wow, man. Like you can imagine Aaliyah in heaven, and so that's what I missed. And like, well, how long was everyone sad that I was gone? Well, something happened not too long afterward.
You think there's a long journey to get to heaven for Aaliyah?
No, I think she's there.
No, I know, but I'm saying you make it seem like it took her like a week
Your
to
timeline
get
doesn't
there.
make any
Yeah,
sense.
I'm confused here.
Kind of like David Sampson.
No, you don't know what happens in the world after you die. That's my theory. Like once you're dead, like you're not up to date on like
But
So
what about all
But-
those stories that?
but then the people are
would tell
telling
me
her.
about my loved ones being with me.
what do you what do you mean?
Like
The stories are the other people who died after
Oh.
her. Like
I
like
don't
she-
like your theory because
no.
then my grandpa
Yeah, what he's
isn't
saying is,
looking
yeah,
down on
our
me.
loved ones don't see us anymore.
No, they don't.
How do you know?
Because they're
You haven't
they're
been
in
to heaven.
They're in heaven. They're having a good time.
You
They're not
haven't
worried
been there.
about you.
You don't know.
Why you got them worried about you, man? Stop making it about you. Like let them be them. Like they're having a
He's
good
just
time.
sitting there with that little ass shirt on, talking about my shirt's too big. Everybody don't wear them little shirts like you be wearing. Me and you be wearing.
I was just about to ask.
I'm the dude disguised
Juju.
as another dude. I'm
You
a dude that
are-
know what dude he is.
I said yesterday on my observations that you are low-key the funniest dude on the show. You also are the nicest dude on the show, so I must have offended the of you because I feel like you're attacking me over
Yeah,
just
the point that he's
mentioning
trying
that
to-
the T-shirts are a little
The
big.
point that he's trying to make is you did offend him with the shoes.
Yeah, your shoes are pretty terrible.
They are offensive.
They're shit shoes.
I mean, listen, Allbirds is not going to like
Shoes.
You
this.
see somebody doing a nice thing, you lay out for that segment. Maybe take a chill pill.
Yes,
rather.
because that's the
Yeah.
formula. That's the
Or you-
formula
or you-
on this
or
show.
you go transition
just
to
do a
another topic.
QVC segment and just let everybody say, "Oh, how lovely that shirt is."
Those are some good clothes.
There's a good clothes for
Quality,
people twice the size of
Is
Jeremy
Miguel
Taché.
Gutierrez.
You're playing with fire, man.
We have to have
Oh,
a
he's got the
talk after
jacket
this
on.
shit.
He's got the jacket on. Look at that.
I feel so confident.
He's gonna have to wear the jacket to hide the shirts that are way too big underneath.
I'm gonna
the
put the
jacket.
shirt on so you can
Oversized
see.
is in. You
Yeah.
can style oversized a lot easier.
Plus, clothes shrink.
I agree with you. I don't know if Jeremy can style oversized.
We can help
Wow.
him.
We don't know what his style is. If it's too big, guess what, brother? I'll get you
Throw it in the
size.
I
dryer.
thought I did know what my style
This is
was, but
just-
apparently I don't. So we're learning together.
Full tracksuit every day. That's your style, Jeremy. No, but seriously, Juju, like I think you're looking through those glasses and you are like shooting fire at me
Yeah,
right
he
now.
hates
Not in a
Nah,
good
this-
way.
It's just not a time to make jokes when somebody's doing something nice. In my opinion. Maybe in your opinion, you just make jokes at you with the little shirt and the pink shoes on. Maybe in the little shorts. But in my opinion, you sit that one out and let somebody do something nice and let the brotherhood shine through. You feel me?
So it's okay. So it's no longer a brotherhood with you and me now. I've offended
it's- it's a
you
brotherhood.
you've
That's
given
why
me
I'm
shoes
telling you
before,
this.
but then I've worn these terrible shoes by your account, and therefore we are
Wait,
no
you
longer
got
brothers.
shoes?
which is
I
why,
got- and
which
I
is
bled all over them
furthermore
when I
the
busted my
reason,
face.
which is furthermore the reason you should lay out. You feel me? Because you know who I am to you.
You've been a
The
recipient.
kid.
You've been a recipient.
benefit-
Although I've
Officiary.
always associated that with one of the most terrible moments of my life is when I was busted up my face and bleeding on those gold shoes that you gave me. So if you give me another pair of shoes, I might not wear them. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think you should get him any more
That's,
shoes.
yeah,
man.
don't get him anything.
I have never felt more tried on air.
It's
than
crazy.
Today, y'all.
Well, neither had I.
He's
Neither
insulting
had
you.
I. My shoe
Look at
game,
my
which is
boy
no
right
longer
now.
a
Come
game.
on, is it? Look
Look at him.
No, take the jacket
A
off.
complete
Say
mess.
it.
Come on, bro.
Say it.
Look at my boy
Say
right
it.
now. Come on, bro. You look like a hater over there with
He's
your pink
making us
shoes.
say it. He's
Come on,
making
man.
guys. He's making us
What do
say
you
it.
have to?
Come on,
No,
bro. Look.
Close.
Look, my boy look fresh, man, right now. I promise to God you look good to me. You great. So
You look
don't,
great.
Don't listen
you
to
look
the haters.
great. You look great. A couple more pounds, you might fill that shirt out a little bit
Come
more.
on,
But you look
bro.
good.
What's happening?
It's
No
weird.
body shaming.
I don't understand. Yeah, why are you body
Body
shaming now that we're on
I'm
the topic?
T-shirt shaming. I'm
No.
size shaming. Wow, it's the same thing.
Yeah. What are you doing?
I don't like this one bit.
It's funny because I just thought that Juju was just the nicest guy. And
Well-
all it takes apparently is to wear some pink fuzzy shoes and make a note, not a joke, a note about the size of a shirt that you're gifting.
You don't bother a dog while he eating, and
That's
you
right.
don't bother me while I'm being nice.
I bothered a dog.
What are you doing, Jeremy?
Yeah, what are you doing, Jeremy?
I got nothing. I've got Lewis in my ear trying to get me to say lines.
Say it.
I'm trying to. I don't have
Say
anything.
it. It's the end of the segment.
Make
Say
it say
it.
Is that like the lint brush dance? What are you doing? As much as I've been gambling with my life a little bit by, I guess, insulting Juju by noting that the gifts he gave to
You're
Jeremy
making it
were
worse.
a little
Bro,
large.
this
I
costs
am
money.
not a
All this shit costs
gambler.
money. That's what I'm saying. We can't look. If I'm gonna spend my hard-earned money on something, and I feel like it's a hater in the presence, I'm gonna call that hater out. I love you, Israel Gutierrez. Salute to you.
Salute to you. I love you too. You're my brother. But as much as I don't, as much as I gambled with my life with you, I'm not a gambler. And it's probably not great to say on DraftKings Network. I support gambling of all kinds. But I'm not a big gambler. And so when I read this story yesterday, it was John Rahm, the golfer, talking about, it's sort of a reaction, because I think Max Homa got somebody yelling during like a 3-foot, or a short putt.
Max whom?
Max Homa.
Oh, Homa.
Max
What is
Homa
happening?
had I don't know. Max Homa had a short putt. Somebody yelled. He made the putt anyway, but it turns out the guy who yelled got kicked out. He had like a $3 bet on whether or not he'd make that putt. And so the amount of bets that are just available to make are just more and more. And so if you feel like you can have an impact on your money making, you're going to do that at a golf tournament. And so you're going to hear people, on backswings, on putts and everything else. And it just got me to start thinking about possible solutions.
Well, this did actually happen at the American Century Championship that we were all in on the
That's
18th
right.
hole. As Steph Curry was trying to complete a dramatic comeback, Marty Fish had a lead, and on the approach of the final hole, someone yelled during his swing, and when apprehended by the people on site, he said he had a bet on Steph Curry. Steph Curry ended up winning that hole and the tournament.
And so if you are okay with dealing with some embarrassment, right, getting kicked out, which I'm sure you have no shame, like you're fine with it, you'll be willing to get kicked out of a tournament, right? So self-policing isn't the answer to this.
Wait a second. Wouldn't they just? Why would they tell the truth? Oh, I had a bet on it. Why wouldn't they just be like, oh, sorry, it's hay fever season.
Bless you.
I mean, it was obvious what was happening there, and the person just volunteered, thinking that it's a looser. It's not the PGA. This is but they care about this. There's a trophy on the line. Fish and Steph play every year. They want to win this thing. There are wagers taken on site on that property, and yeah, the guy when caught up thought it was just like he was having a laugh. He's like, "Oh, I was betting on Steph." He very clearly didn't see the big deal in it because he actually did that
The
action.
actor in Kameen is coming out.
I mean, you know how you could fix this, right? This is very easy.
Is it?
Hey, golf, get over yourself.
That-
Fans make noise.
That's where I'm going with this. That's exactly where I'm going with this, because self-policing doesn't work because people are shameful. They are shame-free. They'll just do their thing. Ha ha, I don't care if I'm getting kicked out. I just won $100,000 because of that. And so, and John Rahm had mentioned that it's not always like negative or it's people just trying to affect it. They'll just tell you, hey, I got $20 on you making that putt. Good luck. And it's just like that. So the gambling is constant. And so to me, it's just like there's always going to be people willing to make that sacrifice for a few bucks. So just let them talk the entire time. Make every hole a party. Make the golfers have to focus just because that's what they do when it's quiet. So just focus with a little bit. We were talking the other day, and somebody was telling me it's a solution for my shy bladder. Just a bunch of noise everywhere. So it's the same thing for the golfers. Just have noise all the time, right? It solves the problem effectively.
Can you imagine, like, the World Cup final comes down to PKs? Guy sets the ball. Before he goes up to kick it, he's like, can we keep it down? Can everyone just be quiet until I kick this?
How do you guys feel about that fan like in the crowd that starts doing that? Like when the office is on the
Free
field.
throw,
Like,
yeah. Guys.
Can I just? I'm not trying to throw shade or insult anyone. That's most definitely Chris Cody in this group, right? Like Chris Cody 100% stands up in the crowd, like,
Guys.
or he turns around, he's like, hey, make some
Make
noise.
some noise.
Yeah.
They're on the free throw line. Let's go.
He's
Okay,
definitely
though.
the second one.
Yeah.
He's
Sometimes
definitely the
you
one
need
trying to
the
make more
sports
noise.
cliche, though. Like sometimes you need that guy because who else is gonna, do? Like you
Yeah.
have to have the rules. Somebody can go ahead and set the rules. Like who's the perfect sports cliche is Patrick Mahomes. If you watch the quarterback doc, he is 1,000%. Like if you were to just draw up like a absolute perfect sports cliche, the way he goes about his work, the way he talks about stuff, you need that sometimes because he makes for a great sports figure.
Everything but his voice. That part is not
I'm
cliche
here.
at all.
I'm here.
I think you're the only person in talking to you about QB on
Hmm.
Netflix that came with the takeaway that his wife should have a reality show.
I think she should have a reality show.
Enough. That family, no.
But
They're
that's exactly
banned.
what I
And
say
that's
about
why.
every family that
No.
has a reality show. Not that I would watch it, but I think
No.
she has an appeal.
No. That entire family.
As a cliche sports wife, to be honest, like everything about them is just like it's exactly what I thought they would be.
The brother is the
Except
brother.
for the brother. I just
there
kinda
you
knew
go.
about that.
That's
Well,
But-
he has legal issues right now.
Does he?
Yeah.
She should start her own show like Football Queens. Like
Okay.
Basketball Wives, Football
Yeah.
Queens.
They have
There
a
you go.
football. They have a
Something like
football
that.
wives show.
Oh, they
I
did.
didn't want to say that. I don't want to reduce her to a wife. She's a queen.
I'm on NFL Wife TikTok, and I love those videos.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's like there's a community of them, and they take you through their outfits and their game day routine. I love them.
Sounds like
fun.
Bama Rush, except richer.
Yeah, it pretty much is.
Is Bama Rush the one where like they come out and like whatever? I'm like, what the hell?
One more time?
You keep-
Like they all
Wow, he
Damn.
actually did it twice, exactly the same way. That was amazing.
because I watched it before, right?
No, I think you're thinking of something else.
Something else.
Yeah.
Got it.
But the guys who were at Tahoe, and I'm sorry Chris isn't here to be sad, but the idea of noisy golf at every hole, and not necessarily like party noise, just anything is fine, just whatever's happening, and just force the golfers to prepare for anything. Is that something you see as possible?
Well, Mike and I, as veteran golfers who have played with crowd noise before, I think we could both tell you it's not that big a deal. You have a bunch of people talking in the background, and there's a lot of noise happening. And you're right. I think that's the big thing. If everybody's supposed to be quiet, then you're going to have issues with this. But if everybody's loud, it's really not that
Some
bad.
murmur?
I also take it a step further, and I'm not a golfer, right? But I also have played sports where you're supposed to be quiet, or like, it doesn't really affect me that much. I think that these golfers, when they hear it, use it as an excuse. It's like,
Absolutely. But you know what's funny? It's not just golf. It's tennis too. The tennis ones, they also do the shaming of people for making noise in the crowd. Silence, please. Silence during service. Shut up, man. They can't. They've been doing this their entire lives. They were plucked out of their families when they were 5 years old. They sent to academies and stuff. All they do is hit a ball all day long against machines, against other people. Now all of a sudden they're on the big stage and I sneeze. They're like, silence during service. Silence. Silence, you swine. Silence. Remove him.
is this though the ultimate test of
Ass on.
how far it was ass on? That was amazing.
How dare both of you? I'm ass off. You know it.
That was-
Silence.
That was ass on. The test for how far we're going to allow gambling to get into our sports, because we've already gotten to a confusing place in the NFL. You're getting people suspended, But are you willing to basically break golf, to introduce the craziest thing, noise, into golf, just so you can eliminate this questionable gambling and keep the sort of ethics of gambling good, and just make golf just a little bit different, and the players say, hey, you'll live with it?
This is why, surprisingly, I am against your suggestion, because in the great city of Phoenix, we have this thing called the Waste Management Open, and it is the redheaded stepchild, the black swan of the golf circuit.
The
Shout out to
People's Major.
Gingers.
It's the People's Championship, right? You go out there, everyone's drunk, everyone's loud, there are DJs. When people hit
No wonder you love this place.
Yeah, when people hit hole-in-ones, they spray beer and champagne and stuff onto the green. They boo, they jeer when guys hit the sand trap. It is awesome, and part of what makes it awesome, I think, is because the rest of the sport is so repressed, and that I have to be buttoned up and quiet everywhere else. That this is the one place. If you let every tournament be like this, then it kind of loses its magic and some of that kind of pent up release tension.
Shocking that
we get.
Amin wanted to keep fun golf for his one hole in his hometown.
Hey, man.
I will say I get what you're talking about in terms of like the World Baseball Classic, right? If baseball was that way all the time, it might not be as special as when you get to see here in Miami all of these teams internationally coming in and competing, and that different type of energy that you get where they allow instruments into the ballpark and things like that, where they don't normally do that on a day-to-day basis in Major League Baseball. So it's sort of, it would take away some of the shine if you were getting exposed to that constantly everywhere with the diluted product.
But this is where I'm talking about. Like, obviously the gambling element is helpful for golf. If you can gamble on it, you're going to watch it, etc. So what sort of compromise are you going to make to keep this from happening? Because you're not going to stop the gambling on the golf. You're not going to stop the gamblers from showing up. And so unless you've got some greater problem for these people who are trying to make money and affect their bets, then yeah, you're probably going to have to do something like this. And if that means, okay, so maybe that one hole won't have the sort of novelty that it has in the past, at least you have a different element to other parts. And you can create stadium holes if you want for different golf courses, the way the 16th hole is. And I think it's got a bunch of potential. I don't know if it's the only answer, because I don't think there's going to be enough noise at every hole, per se, for somebody to not affect a golfer. But I think it would just get them more used to the idea, and they wouldn't have to worry about that as much.
Silence.
Constant noise isn't an issue, but in a sport where you're supposed to be quiet and you use that time to focus and you hear a wayward voice on your backswing, all that stuff does actually affect you. So if you have just blanket rules for everything, then I think it's fine. I do find it funny about how sports wagering is becoming more and more legal state by state in this country, and those gambling partners are sharing information with their leagues, and that's how we're finding out about the Calvin Ridleys of the world, the most recent Lion scandal, both Iowa state schools being embroiled in controversy. This is the new normal, and just because it's the United States of America, they're not going to be immune to it. Far more regulated, more mature markets such as Europe have these all the time, be it the Juventus gambling scandal. Even
Tennis.
Recently, Lucas Paqueta, this great Brazilian national team player that plays for West Ham, he was poised to make a move to Manchester City, the current European champions, and all that stuff got put to a halt because there's an investigation pending that he bet on himself to get a yellow card in a match last season.
But hear me out. Hear me out.
Bet.
I
If
love
you
that.
can train, that's a great bet.
100% controllable.
Dude, how not only controllable, but also like the downside if you don't get the yellow card, but like you got to talk all that for an entire game. You call the ref every name.
Or you
in
got
the
a
book.
piece of somebody on a foul
my
that was
God.
just a pro foul.
If you can pump in noise to train for a football game, you could say get a tape of DeMar DeRozan's daughter.
Oh, that's what I was
yelling,
thinking about. Yeah.
mashed potatoes or something like that, and you just practice swinging through all of that, so you have no concern. Once you're actually out there, you're prepared for everything.
That's your distracting phrase.
And yeah, well, I mean, that mashed potatoes is the popular one, but I feel like DeMar DeRozan's daughter is like, there's an entrepreneur availability here. Like, she can make a business out of this just by yelling at people.
Mashed potato.